Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. I must have got some sun the other day. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Today is Wednesday, August 13th, 2025, and you are in the Java Cafe for our third installment of our Waterfront Wednesday, sponsored by and in partnership with the Boston Waterfront Coalition. Now, we have had a lot of guests on Waterfront Wednesday in the past 3 years, 4 years, 3 years, that we've done this Waterfront Wednesday. However, we have not had guests together like this with two people that I know well, that I really believe at some point are probably going to make me turn as red as this hat. And so we're going to talk about their relationship to the waterfront. We're going to talk about one of the things that I know they're going to drive home today is the upcoming Road to Wellness 5K run and walk. I've participated before. I didn't do the 5K walk. We kind of cut some corners, and because of photography, we had to, go get the pictures and do the whole walk. So let me stop BSing because I know Uncle Thaddeus is going to call me out. We are honored today to have Uncle Thaddeus back, who is a vet in the Java Cafe. And I also remember when Hood Fit was a vision of his, and now it's evolved into this Road to Wellness. We also have Rochelle Solomon, who you all see comment often and is a member of the Java Cafe and supportive and always coming out. And we're going to see her on screen today. So we're going to go ahead and get this started. I'm slightly nervous, but I think I'll be okay. Rochelle, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, Jesus, you got very good sound. Okay. Uncle Thaddeus, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Oh my God, he said, "Hey, good morning," and not start with okay.
It's best like behavior Wednesday.
Yes, I love it. I love
that.
Good morning to both of you. Good morning to both of you. I'm glad to have both of you here. And this is, I know both of you, so I know, that you move in spaces of wellness. There are different iterations where I've seen online your relationship to the waterfront. Uncle Thaddeus, you often post pictures and live near, a waterway. So let's start. Rochelle, this is your first time on the Java Cafe. Let's just say I'm enjoying the blue water wall. You kind of got the whole sea theme going on. Please introduce yourself. Say hello to the Java Cafe members. And I will ask you to describe your relationship with the waterfront in one word. After your introduction. Okay. You see the eyes go? She was like, okay, let's go.
Okay, my name is Rochelle Solomon. I'm a runner. I'm a member of Black Girls Run. I'm a run coordinator. I'm actually highly social, not just in the running space. I like being out and about, and I really like to engage in the community. I find the act of moving and walking, running, whatever movement looks like, to be relaxing, an outlet for maybe untapped energy that I need to release. So my relationship with the waterfront is it's calming.
It's calming. Got you. Uncle Thaddeus, what is your, well, please say hello, greet the audience. You don't necessarily have to introduce yourself, but we may have some new folks in the room today. And also I will ask you the same word, one word for your relationship with the waterfront.
Well, first I want to say good morning to my Java family, the mothers, the cousins, the aunts, the uncles, and the prayer group, right? Because, we got them all up in here. And, I know they pray for me every day. So I just really want to say thank you. And I'm also praying for them. So my relationship with the waterfront is joy. My one word would be joy.
I appreciate
it. I'm looking skinny. I'm feeling that.
I said the same thing a few minutes ago, but we'll leave that alone.
Hopefully it's not the camera.
Listen. Just know if you mess with me, I got one in the trigger.
All right.
In the whatever you call it, in the whatever. So both of you, you have the relationship to the water. You're familiar. You've been at events that we've partnered with the Waterfront Coalition. And so this is not a new space for both of you. And so, Uncle Thaddeus, I'll start with you here. Wellness and water. We're going to talk about the 5K, but wellness and water. What's the relationship between the two for you?
For me, it's just to be honest, for me, it's God's glory, right? It's let me turn this phone off. It's God's glory. It's the power to renew, because every time those waves come in and go out, it's breath. It's a lot of things, but for me, it's a relationship that God is giving me in order to recover, to renew, to build, and to continue to have that. What would I say? That joy from the sound, from the touch, from the surrounding. Because when you get in the water, right, you're surrounded. You know what I mean? And it's one of those places that I can dip my head in and dip my entire body in and actually feel the joy and the love surrounding me. Even though up here the water's a little cold compared to where I'm from, but it's still something about it that's just a renewing energy that I love.
A follow-up quick question, just because we talk often about the mental health impact of this space. Is there a bit of vulnerability with being in the water?
Well, for most Black people that can't swim, there's a lot of vulnerability, right? You being one of them. But
okay, so let's stay there for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You were talking about that. There are some times where I will go out. I do know how to swim, but I need to. The way I jump off is from the bottom, and so a couple of times in the last couple of years, I did go out a little bit farther than 7 feet. And for a few seconds before the fear kicks in, there is a vulnerability that happens being surrounded by the water like that. And so that's kind of, what I heard when you said, your head drops down and you're just surrounded. There is that great feeling.
I agree with you. You know what I mean? It's something about water that also can be fearful.
Yeah.
Right. But there's something about water that's also peaceful. Right. And so, I like to get to the beach or wherever I'm at early in the morning, right, where there's not many people out there and where I can actually sort of dip myself. And it's like that baptism as I pray. Right. And I think it's one of those things, right? When, in that morning for me, when I do it, I pray and I go under. Right. And I allow that, God's glory to cover me during that time, because, I stopped watching TV. I don't have cable or any of that. I've got Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
But if you come to my house now, it's the TV is on a station that only plays the ocean.
Yeah.
Right. And
yes,
so,
sir.
It's one of those things that come with the TV and you just hear the ocean moving and it plays oceans from all around the world and gives you different scenery of all around the world. It's the most peaceful thing that I've found. And now that I'm doing a lot more writing, it's been such a beautiful blessing to be able to hear that sound and to be able to reflect. And it brings back great memories for me, right? So whether that's from my own childhood of growing up in Virginia Beach and being able to go down to the waterfront and run around, or whether that's from, 3 years ago and I was in Rochelle's home country of Antigua and, I was out on the beach and, a bunch of people that looked like me was doing their thing, right? And just having fun, right? And I was able to go into some warm water and live it. So, there's lots of aspects of it that for me are around the mindfulness, around God's creation and the opportunity to cleanse yourself, around the thing of just fitness and mental health, but also the piece of just being able to sit in a space and be still.
It's interesting because I'm going to check in with Rochelle, and the first thing I was going to talk about her running, and that's an activity, and so it's going to be an interesting transition. But I agree with everything that you said, and there is just something about the waves, the oceans, or waterways, period, and just hearing any type of water. It was raining the other day. I went out and turned the video on, so just so I could get the sound of the raindrops.
Yeah, Yeah, I run in the rain, and
I
I
would.
love. And but I think when you talk to Rochelle, that's my sister. She grew up surrounded by the ocean. On the island, so maybe
Mhm.
she might have a different perspective around what water means to her. I know I'm putting her on the spot, but
You could go ahead. I'll just jump off the camera and y'all can just have a conversation. No, see,
man, we talk
Rochelle,
for hours, right? so, so
but
people be like, "What the hell are they talking about?"
we can do, and we've done it. But Rochelle, I wanted to ask you, I know that you're a runner, and there's that activity, there's a different discipline and whatnot. And so I was really happy, one, that you were coming on the show. Two, that to see or hear a different aspect for you, there's some presumptions. You run by the water, and what Thaddeus talked about, being from Antigua. And so what is your relationship with wellness and water?
So, like a lot of my I'm gonna shout out Caution Beach and Castle Island, because a lot of times when I'm training for a marathon, I like to get out of the house really early. It's probably 4:30 in the morning, and I'm running along the beach, and it is so peaceful, and just to be able to see um, the sun break over the horizon over water, like signaling the beginning of a new day, is calming. So that's like one of the reasons why I like Carson Beach in that area, and running around UMass Boston are some of my favorite places to run. There's just a piece that you can like hone into as you're trying to get those miles done.
When you say you're trying to get miles done, is it different running? Okay, quick question. Is it different running by the water as far as the air, the not humidity, but is there a difference? I just had that thought.
Yes.
I had to ask
So
it.
that's a good kind of interlude to why it's important for us to be outside near water and near
Yep.
green spaces, because like I do have a biology degree, and I do know a bit about the environment. So when you look at green spaces and being near the water, especially like a hot, humid day like today, they do have the property of pulling some of that heat from the air. So that's why it's important to have green spaces, connections with water, because it's actually cooler to run where you have open green spaces and water. So there is an effect. Like I'm going to tell you, you go out at Castle Island, it's going to be cooler at Castle Island than it's going to be Mattapan Square. So there is a cooling effect being around green space or water early in the morning, and especially like even in the afternoon when there's shade.
One of the things that I want to talk about for a few minutes is that, and I know both of you can speak to this. We just for a couple of seconds got into a little bit of climate and environmental justice. Um, Thaddeus had also mentioned, water can be. What did you say? Water can be. There can be an appreciation and joy for water, but it can also be fearful. And he referenced to you being from Antigua. Let's just name and acknowledge that we are seeing in the islands the impact of not addressing climate change in a very aggressive manner. So let's have that conversation about like the use of the waterways, climate justice, environmental justice. And I'm going to go ahead and say it from Black people and Black folks being concerned about climate change and whatnot, because there's still, unfortunately, with all the work the coalition has been doing, sometimes I still hear this notion that climate and environmental justice isn't a priority for us. And I disagree with that. So Rochelle, if you can respond in this part of the segment first, just your thoughts, and you did kind of bring it up. So what are your thoughts around use of it when it comes to things like DEI, diversity of use, equity in use, inclusiveness in use, and then just anything you wanted to share about your perspective about climate change when it comes to everything that the coalition is doing?
So in terms of to see a space, because I've like looked at read different articles, saw different programming about, when folks don't see themselves in a certain environment, they don't tend to go there. So the waterfront is meant for all of us, and we all should be utilizing the waterfront. Um, when I think about environmental justice, I mean, there's a big major movement to say environmental impacts aren't happening, but as with anything we treasure, we need to respect it. So we need to control it from pollution. When you go out to the waterfront, you should leave it the way you met it. It's a resource. It's a great source of vitamin D because as African American or darker skinned individuals, we often have low vitamin D levels because we're not going outside. We're not engaging in nature.
Uncle Thaddeus, I wanted to ask you, and my brain is going all over the place. I'm trying to stay within the coalition versus, advocacy and activism piece. One, also, Rochelle, we did not, well, I didn't, Uncle Thaddeus, right. You have the biology degree, which is awesome. And so your ability to speak to this with a different lens, not just from wellness, but from a scientific standpoint is definitely awesome. Uncle Thaddeus, let me ask you, and he's a formal guest, but I'm going to be my authentic self and say, Uncle, the use of the waterway, we've talked about this a lot. Rochelle mentioned Carson Beach. There, unfortunately, was another activity this year where some of our young people may have had some behavior, but there was that sense of not welcoming again. What are your thoughts around, and especially in these times, use of the waterfront, being intentional about it, because there is this work going on? Is there a responsibility that we also have to push ourselves maybe to go into some of the spaces where Rochelle said that we may not often see ourselves?
Well, I know you said DEI earlier, right?
Intentionally.
But I also say let's get out of making DEI black, right? Because DEI is a much broader context.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right. Yep. Because I'm a veteran, right? I'm at that age where the young people are coming in and getting different positions that I might be able to apply for. Some of my hearing is going a little bit in one ear. I don't know what that's about. So it's all of those things, right? That when we start to think about DEI, it's a much broader context than just Black folks, right? Yes, so let's be clear. So we talk about even, the LBG, right? And so those things, when we talked about gender, when we talk about age, right? It's a lot of those things. So I just want to be clear on that.
Yep.
But for me, I think sometimes what happens is I've seen some amazing opportunities that happen on the waterway that us as a people in a broader context in the whole diaspora of Black, for me, attend and participate in, right? And so even when you look at the family reunion, right, that was really right there, right? When I look at what TAC does, Reverend Broderick is the executive director over there, and how they do their fun day on the waterway, right? And they have, I've got pictures of Rochelle out there kayaking. The kids are kayaking. Because honestly, when I first saw it, I was like, "These ain't nobody coming out here to kayak. These Black folks ain't coming out here, right?" That's that was my thing. When I got there, the line was long as hell. Right? And so I think sometimes there's this assumption of what we don't do because we don't see it. Like when I go to the beach in the morning, it's packed with folks that look like me, right? Like I'm up in the New Hampshire beach, right? Because that's what's closer to me. And when I see different activities in my feeds of Black folks out there just enjoying the beach, but what we see is, some young people that are reckless, right? And to be honest, they're both Black and white, and in every other denomination, right? But what we take pictures of are more those that look like us. When if we turn to the left or to the right, is those that don't look like us that's wilding out at the same time. And so so there's that.
Right? I don't have my cup.
Right. But when I go to the ICA, when we do the Black Joy Day at the ICA, which the Waterfront is also a big supporter of, it's right there. People are just walking the pathways, and I see a ton of people that look like me right? And so, I'm not of this nature that Black people aren't in certain spaces. And I think we also have to go, for me, I don't go and look for what's welcoming me. I go for what my purpose is, right? And I've
Mm.
learned to sort of move through that. Because every time I started to go and look for what's not there for Black folks, I missed out on what's there for Black folks, right? And so now I go and look for what is my purpose, right? Like when I go to the beach, my purpose is to renew, is to be able to have that conversation with some of my ancestors, especially my mom. It's to grab me something to eat, right?
That's right.
And it's to listen to my stories or to my music, and I can do that. And I don't have to have somebody try to make me comfortable, right? In order to do that, I make myself comfortable by having the agency to believe that I belong there, and I roll with it, right? I don't, for me, I'm not. Let me just say it like I say it, right? Like me and you talking on the phone.
Yes, sir.
I'm not sitting there asking white folks to make me comfortable. I'm past that, right? I'm about how do I look internally at myself to make sure that I feel that I belong. Because sometimes it's about me, right? It ain't about them, right? It's something new, right? It's something. I always say that I go up to Maine, and people tell me you shouldn't go. There's no Black folks up there. And I go up looking for in the fall when the leaves are changing. It's beautiful up there, man. And I'm running into Black folks everywhere. But if you listen to folks, people tell you that they don't exist up there, right? And I'm by the lakes, and I'm in the mountains, and I'm in, And so when we start to think about water's not just at the beach, right? It's everywhere. And I think sometimes we relate, this climate change, this Black folks don't do this, the vitamin D is because we don't get out, right? Other misnomers, Black folks don't burn. We burn, right? So people need to start using some of that sunscreen, right? And all of these other pieces, right? Let's just keep it real, man. It's we need to stop depending on others and stop trying to make others do something for us, and figure out how do we as a collective come together to do things for ourselves. And so that's why I love the family reunion, right? Even though it was packed and the lines were long and all the other pieces, but there was still something about it that tells us what we can be and how much broader we can be within this city. So we've got to start looking at the context of what it looks like for us to be happy within ourselves and for ourselves, right? Tired of trying to get a seat at the table. We're building our own table.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But we're inviting those that don't look like us, but have the same tone as us and the same belief as us. And we need to start doing more of that. And we need to figure out how do we get to past these silos that we're putting up. And we need to get past this fear of what's happening now, right? All of this, this noise that is a distraction. They got people afraid to even say DEI or to say anything else. Or to talk about how they really feel or the challenges that they're facing, right? We've got to be able to figure out how do we actually truly love each other in a way, but also address, this climate change, because it's real. Mm-hmm. My car was saying 105 yesterday. I'm like, so even now, I used to start the car, when it was cold outside, so I get the heat going. Now I start the car
to get the
AC going.
Listen, stop playing. But
thank God for technology.
Uncle, this is a real factor. There are a couple of things I extracted from what you just said, and I'm going to give it to Rochelle, just so for the purpose of you don't start off with me. But Rochelle, Uncle Thaddeus talked about individuality. He talked about some of the self-work. And I just want to hold space for a second that we talk about mental health in this space. The coalition appreciates mental health. And what Uncle Thaddeus just spoke to is a perspective that I believe that can help us better step into these spaces. So thank you for that. Rochelle, I wanted to ask you, based on what he said about individuality, we're going to transition into the 5K Road for Wellness. We talk about mental health. We talk about running by the water and whatnot. And so little bit to Uncle, but back to you. I remember when he reached out and said, "Hey, I'm not going to try to do his voice. Okay, I'm going to do the voice. Hey, I'm just thinking about, I had this idea about health and whatnot, and what do you think?" And to look at it now is interesting. And so he's been very public about his journey, in health and whatnot. So let me ask you, the individual responsibility that we have, let's now start talking about taking care of ourselves. And the 5K Road to Wellness run and walk has intentionality about helping us as individuals. And Uncle, you'll appreciate this, be your best self. That's from some years ago. So Rochelle, let's go there about individual journey to being well, and then tie in how the 5K has is and will continue to support people on journeys of becoming their better self.
Okay.
I know there was a lot there. This is a person you watch the show, so you a vet,
Yes. So I'm just trying to figure out how to start this out. So I started my wellness journey. I always wanted to run, but it wasn't until a relationship ended and I finally said, I am not going to sit on this couch and just do nothing, just watch TV. So I downloaded a program and started running. Along my running journey, I came across a program, Road to Wellness. Gail had Black Girls Run know, like, hey, Road to Wellness is happening. Come on down and engage with the program. So one of the benefits of this program, it meets you where you are. So you don't have to be a runner when you start this. If all you want to do is get your sexy pace on and walk, they have coaches that can help you do that. They can help you walk more effectively. And you don't have to do it by yourself because there are other like-minded individuals. So, and then they cover like a vast slew of topics: healthy eating, how do you prepare? So the program builds on getting you out there. It does progress to throwing you certain challenges at you, but you're doing it in community with like-minded individuals. And by the time you come up to the final segment of the training program, now they're preparing you for the 5K run or the 2-mile walk. So you get experience out on the actual course so that when it comes race day, this is something you did before. So it's just a culmination or graduation for everything you practiced over the summer. So, it's not all about running, it's about walking and movement. And I know folks get kind of put off when they hear running. Movement is what you make it. If you're going to hop, skip, and run, and if you're going to talk with your friends as you walk, you're out there engaging in nature, in community. So, it's just about getting out there, however you get out there. And it's for all abilities. And I say abilities because, some of us, our mobility is different. We may use a wheelchair. We may have a guide, but the race and the programming is for everyone.
I wanted to just note, and you all may have saw Uncle Thaddeus and me laugh when Rochelle referred to, when you hear run 5K, yeah, some people, so I heard, get a little intimidated, by that. And so that's real. And so, Uncle, may I ask you, in a general 50,000 foot view, talk about people who may be intimidated by a 5K. And also, there's a support system in place. They're not just saying come on September 6th and run. There is, if I understand correctly, there is months of support to both point of community and professionals. And so speak to people that, might not, maybe be a little, see, I'm stuttering, a little bit intimidated.
I'm not gonna go at you, man. Your ass just lazy. That's all. That's Sorry, I know.
Just a little bit. No,
look.
Yes.
My first 5K, I was 325 pounds and couldn't run 100 yards without being winded, right? But, I came out there with a different purpose. And, and I just completed it. It was scary. I've always been an athlete at a pretty high level, for the non-professional. But, the reality is it's really about taking the time to decide whether you want to care for yourself and whether you want to be better. And so it's not about the time that it takes you to do it. It's about just crossing that finish line. It's about having the willpower to be able to come out and say, look, I want to be better today than I was yesterday. And it's about being with community and having real support. The race has a training component that starts in June, and you get some people that start walking, and they walk a half a mile. And at the end of the day, they actually run the 5K. And those folks that didn't believe in themselves are running past me. So it's really about just coming out, connecting with community, understanding the health disparities that are existing for us as a people, the health disparities that are existing just for Roxbury, Dorchester, Mattapan, Hyde Park. The reality of, we want to be here to be able to see and live, right? It's one thing about being alive, and it's another thing about living. And so what I'm hoping that we're doing is actually helping people be able to live, to be able to address their internal challenges, because I start off running and praying at the same time. And then I release at that point, and I get into my breath. I get to feel myself. I get to know that I'm alive. And so what I would tell you to address it a little bit differently is every year at the race, somebody tells me how running has saved their life. And so, I've written 2 stories in the last, couple of weeks, and one was about a older lady, I'm going to say older, wise, around my age, that had lost her mom, but also lost her daughter, and started to run. And when she lost her daughter, though, she had started running with the training camp, and she lost her daughter, and then she wanted to quit. But it was people at that camp that called her and saw her on Instagram and encouraged her to come back. And now she's running 5Ks, 10Ks. And, the last I saw her at the last BAA 10K, she ran past me, and she was my motivation, right? And to continue to move forward. And so it's really about, yourself. It's about self-determination. It's about being better each day. And it's about being out here living and thriving in your life, and addressing those other things internally that running and walking and movement can do for you. And the picture that I always think about from the road to wellness that motivates me to keep going is a lady that actually had a walker. It was the first and second road to wellness. She had a walker, and she completed the 2-mile walk using her walker. And so I always think of that lady whenever I'm challenged about getting out there and just moving. I don't always run. Most of the time I'm actually walking. I look good doing it, but that's a whole different story.
It is. So I learned something to your point about, and thank both of you for, really saying that if you don't run, just the movement. I've been, researching some lymphatic, how to activate the system. And a lot of people are walking around with a lot of stuff built up, tires and stuff. Did you see the jiggle? Lord have mercy. Because we're not moving. And so not just the water, not just running, but you all are encouraging people just to move. There's the health benefit. And then if you move that little bit, you might walk down to a waterway. Walk down there. The next year you might sign up in June to get the I see that look, Uncle. What you about to say?
Let me tell you something. There's nothing like going to the beach when it's crowded to make you feel good about what your body look like.
That point. So
if you think, look, I see people out there weigh 400 pounds in that bikini.
And they don't even care.
They rocking it, right?
Yep.
You know, they're doing their thing and they ain't worried about nobody else. They're just out there enjoying life. And so, you know, we got to stop internally, you know, and I know that that's, you know, that's a condition. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I understand it, right? But, you know, that's the other thing I love about going to the beach. I'm like, damn, I look pretty good out here. You know, I don't want to take my shirt off, but damn, I'm like, okay, brother here got his shirt off, right? And, you know, I'm like, okay, let me keep it moving. But it's something about that renewed energy, man, and just being able to smile and talk to folks. But, you know, I do yoga. You know, I'm teaching yoga now. I'm doing some other pieces, but it's all about movement, right? It's really like, I tell, it's a friend of mine. I said, look, I know you don't want to run. I know you don't want to lift weights. I know you don't want to do yoga. It's a good friend of mine. I'm saying, but you love to dance. Dance every day.
Yes, sir.
Go out at, you know, whether you're dancing in your house or you're getting one of those videos or something else. Do what you enjoy to continue moving and relieving your body of some of those stress and some of the trauma that we've been dealing with.
I wanted to, you know, as you're talking about movement, I've been to at least 3 or 4 of either the openings or the closings. Last year, I think I got there late, but there was one year that I got there at the opening, and for the purpose of Uncle Thaddeus and I taking pictures, we kind of beelined, you know, across up Demick, up Townsend, then across like the park at Walnut. So we had to go get pictures. That's why we didn't do the whole thing. There's a lot of movement that day. Don't do me, Rochelle. There's a lot of movement that day. Rochelle, with the movement, like what if some people may not register, they may not come to run, but you talked about community. The kickoff and the comeback, that is a vibe. So what goes on actually on September 6th? There's the run piece, there's registration, but maybe some people just want to be in community to be encouraged to, you know, be in community with others to get ready to get on this road to wellness.
Right. So we'll forward you the volunteer link at some point. So the race is looking for volunteers. I know they typically have vendors. I know Stop and Shop has a spot at the race, and they're normally giving out fruits and vegetables. You'll find a ton of organizations that deal with movement there. It's like a family reunion. People you haven't seen in a while, you'll see, but there's a kids fun run too. So you bring the kids down. And even if you're not running and you want running, I'm going to say walking because we put running first, but you got to walk to get anywhere. And then if you want to run, you got to walk first. So if you just want to get some motivation, come down the day of the event and cheer someone on, interact with someone, ask questions, go to any of the running groups and ask questions. Most of all of the running groups are catering to everyone, not just runners. They have walking components. They're walking at least a mile every time they meet. So it's a family reunion. There'll probably be some line dancing because there's always some line dancing.
You know,
Yes.
Won't be no fans though. We ain't doing no.
We're not having. Wait. Hold on, Uncle Thaddeus, because you know if Miss Teresa's on, she's gonna be hitting me talk about I just hit Thaddeus and I'm about to send him 25 fans. But I've been there and it really is a vibe. Shout out to Spark FM, who helped set the vibe with their, you know, teams and DJs and whatnot. But
don't forget Body by Brandy.
That does the warm up as well.
Yeah,
okay,
man, she make you tired before you run, but you know it's good. It definitely wake you up. You know, so if you just want to come out and do that with everybody, right, and then cheer people on, right, it's a good time.
And bring your grandkids for the kids run, or bring a child to participate in the kids run. There's all kind of opportunities around the race or event.
I think it's important to we've been to the BAA finish line and whatnot, but when people see things like that in community, it may challenge them to go, next year they may go down to the finish line just cheering and volunteering. And I just want to make a note for those of you that may be interested in what Rochelle said about volunteering. The active link to go in and volunteer is in the comments. We have a few links in the comments. So if you want to register for the race, if you want to volunteer, if you want to go to the main website just for the overall race, Ian put that link in the comments as well. So please be sure you can go here to get everything. Sign up, kids run, volunteer, and all of the information that you need. But
James, I want to say one thing though.
Yes, sir.
I think we sometimes forget this. The last 2 years, it's been a 13 and 14-year-old Roxbury resident that have come in third and fourth place.
A third
in the overall running, right? So we have runners out there that's fast, and we have a lot of folks out there. But it's two runners that compete locally in the high schools and I guess junior high, but that compete. In the last 2 years, they have either been in third or fourth place in the men's division or just overall division. And so when I see them coming through, it's just I think about them being cheered on by the different community members, right? Because it's two kids that look like me and you know, and Rochelle, that are out there doing their thing and just outstanding young people. And so this is their prep for their season of running track through the rest of the year. And so I always feel like community should come out and support the amount of young people that are out there running and giving all they have on that day.
I can't speak to the fact that even you are walking by the balloon and maybe on your way to say hi to somebody, you hear a cheer of somebody coming through the wind and you automatically are turning around going, yeah. It's just a spirit of just community. It's a spirit of accomplishment, whether you ran or not. You're joining in with the spirit, with the spirit of accomplishment, cheering everybody else on. And so it to see how many years has it been from your concept, Thaddeus, to now? How many years has it been?
This is 11 years.
Okay.
So the other thing I always like to think is like, there's this health disparity in our community. And when we started this was part of the initiative to try to address the health disparity or the life expectancy. And when we started it, the life expectancy, the difference was 33 years. So we've been in existence for really 10 years. And now the difference is 23 years. So I would like to say that we had some contribution towards reducing that over a 10-year span by 10 years. And so I feel like every year that the road to wellness is going, we're getting closer to a healthier community. That's just my own imagination in some way, but I feel like we did contribute to a change within the community context, because even now, running groups before that maybe had 5 or 10 people now have 100 people. You find different races. Hyde Park has a race on the 7th. Mattapan has another 5K that they've already had. You'll see other races that are happening in our community. And people feel like that is something that they can now do and be supported, right? I think the other thing that I will say about our race is it's free. Most races cost between $35 and $50. We don't charge because we want the community to be able to come out because it's their community. We want them to be able to run through their community at no cost. And so we find sponsors to be able to do that. So it's not free to us. We still have to pay for the details. We still have to pay for a lot of different things. And that's fine, right? And so, but the reality is it's a race about community driven. It's a race designed through human design aspect of looking at the community first and seeing and asking them what they need and what they like to see, and how we can make it better each year from talking to community and having them lead what the race looks like and how it's designed. Like I don't touch it anymore. in certain senses. Like I want the community, we have a community group, we got a meeting today at 12, that they design it out with our partners and others to say, here's what's will make it better for this year. And I think that's why we've been able to grow, and that's why we've been able to sustain. It's not us looking down on the community and telling them what we want. It's the community actually working with us to make sure that there's actually a sense of belonging and a sense of joy that happens throughout the entire day and throughout the entire race.
Definitely. And that community input, I think, is first thing. Yes, I believe that there was some influence on from Hood Fit and just overall where a lot of people are paying more attention to their health. So yes, sir, whatever the percentage drop was it then? You sit back and stay proud with you and the team that there's 2% of that percent that Hood Fit in the road to it, because it is a mass influence. You all got to go just for the experience. It is an event, it is a vibe, but it's with intention. The other thing I'll say is, before we ask Rochelle to do sort of a last plug and talk about everything for the event, is there is an automatic, Uncle Thaddeus, you and I've been continuing the conversation about men's mental health. We haven't even talked about the impact of an outlet that running and training and stuff does. So I won't get us started, but I just wanted to name that.
Yeah.
Rochelle, do one major campaign-like announcement, commercial-like thing for folks to come down to the 5K on Saturday, September 6th. Ready? Go.
So I'm going to do two things, because we do have one more training session at Demic. So if you want to,
Uncle Thaddeus, I was ready to record a commercial for her, and she's going to do it.
Yeah, I know. She's
go ahead, bro. No, go ahead, Rochelle.
That's an Antigua in there, her coming out.
So we do have one more training session, and that's on this Saturday, the 16th at 8:45 at the Demic Center. So if you still want to get a preview of the course, whether you're walking it or you would like to run, you can always come to the training session. But the final race will happen on the 6th of September. And if you don't want to have the fear of missing out, I would go and register. It's really one of the highlights of the Boston summer. Come out, challenge yourself, meet new people, engage in community, maybe pop some fans and do some boots on the ground, but you won't regret coming out. Bring the kids, bring relatives that you care about and you would like to get moving, and just make it a family day or make it a me day.
I like that. Make that a me day, because just even the piece of just being in community is an awesome event, and you get to meet a lot of people there. And some people I haven't seen in community during the year, and it's like, oh, I haven't seen you since last year. So it's awesome. Go ahead, Uncle. Did you want to say?
I just said it's a day full of joy, love, and community. So if you want your morning, you want to start your morning off with a day filled with love, joy, and community, then you need to be at the Road to Wellness as it kicks off.
That is
9 o'clock.
And I'm glad it's in the morning. I'll get up and be there early, because that's when
not because Jimmy, we just bug you because we love you.
Oh,
and
yeah.
We want you here with us as long as possible.
Yes, ma'am.
So when we're asking you if you will be participating this year, that's where it's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
So, I ain't coming from all that.
So, Jimmy, I'm gonna pass the torch to you this year, because I'm not gonna be able to attend. So you're gonna be attending in my place.
Oh, this year when? For what?
Yeah. So Jimmy, here's the thing, right?
Uh-oh.
And she's it's not a bad thing. It's
okay. Yep.
She's very, very humble. Her and several other Road to Wellness runners and Black Girls Run, Black Men Run, and some of these other groups, Pioneer, Trailblazer, and others, they will be in Sydney, Australia, running the marathon there. So they will be taking their Road to Wellness with them. But I am very proud of her and all of the other runners that were able to get in and have been doing the hard work and the training to be able to show up and show out in Sydney. in a few weeks. So, let's congratulate and lift her up for that.
Rochelle, I just have to ask you real quick, how does it feel to be, to going to do this over in Sydney, Australia? How does it feel?
Well, I'm 55 this year, so it feels like a celebration for me. And this will be I've been to Mexico, but to me, this area of the world is a new world. So I'm excited that this will be my first international trip. And I'm the kind of person that I like history. So yes, I'm going to the prison colony because that's what it used to be. Yep. But I also like seeing different things, and hopefully I get to engage with the indigenous populations that are there. So to me, traveling, if I get a race in, is great sightseeing opportunity. So I'm really excited about going to Sydney.
Did she say 55 or 55?
She said 55. Look. For the first 3 seconds, I said, "Well, damn, I didn't know you was older than me."
Yeah, see, I'm actually rubbing off on her.
55. Get that right.
55.
So, yeah.
Listen, you don't have nothing at all. So, all right, Sister Rochelle, congratulations to you and all the sisters that are doing that. And Uncle Thaddeus, thank you for sharing that with us so we can big up Rochelle. Y'all in the comments, congratulate Rochelle. And if somehow or another, y'all want to figure out, as the old folks used to say, put a little something in her hand when you see her or whatever, reach out to her and she'll let you know how to do that. So we can just support her doing that. Both of you, I want to thank you. This has been one of the most intense and in-depth Waterfront Wednesdays of this year. And so I appreciate both of you coming with us and also challenging us to do better and to take a lot of perspective and mentality was discussed today, not just the physical, but getting into the headspace of being able to be consistent and sustain, what we start. So I thank both of you for that. And the good brother Eric Harrison is in messing with Uncle.
Yeah. That's my boy.
I know. Did he cut his hair? His picture looks different. Eric, did you cut your hair? All right, we're going to get ready to get off.
Last thing, because I got to go. I got to be on 11 o'clock. I also want to thank the Waterfront Coalition for all that they're doing, not just for us, giving us the opportunity to speak here today, but also everything that they're doing to make sure that Boston and the world understand and are educated around what climate change looks like, but more so what we can do about it and what belonging looks like. They're a perfect and amazing example of hosting opportunities for us to come together, no matter what our challenges, whether that's culture, whether that's language, whether that's beliefs, to be able to come together and be about community and be about change. So thank you.
That's the closing we need right there. Well, folks, we're going to get ready to go. No, not too much. Well, a couple of announcements. And so I'll let both of you go. Thank you. And I'll see Uncle Thaddeus next Saturday, 2 or 3 weeks on the 6th.
Yeah.
And
love you, Java family.
All right. Thank you all.
Take care, man.
Yes, sir. Love you too, Uncle.
Peace.
Folks, I hope you were encouraged. And then also, have some information. I mean it about going out. It's like a let out. It's the 5K. That's what we're going to call it. The 5K let out. And going there before. It really is a vibe. Just the event itself. So I want to thank both of them for being with us. And again, the Waterfront Coalition, our sponsor for today's show. The last thing is tomorrow we are speaking with Josh James, who is the founder and CEO of Grow Rich Apparel. And then tomorrow night at 8 p.m., we're speaking with Brother Milton and also Mario about the 3 Cape Verdean block parties that are taking place. Two last things in our part of the Cape Verdean diaspora is one, the show tomorrow night. Two other things is I'm going to ask the Java fam to keep particularly our Cape Verdean community in prayer. One is there's a devastating storm that has impacted Cape Verde, and I believe there were 12 people that died, and Cape Verde has declared a day of mourning to acknowledge and celebrate the lives of those lost. Additionally, speaking of those who transitioned, Senator Liz Miranda, a champion for our community, lost her other brother. I was texting with her between last night and today, and she had let me know that she lost her brother. So please keep the Miranda family in prayer. There may be some other names associated beyond Miranda, but please keep Senator Liz Miranda and the entire Cape Verde community in prayer, and also pray and cover the event for this weekend too, the 3 block party. Shout out to all the sponsors, all of those that are donating, all of those that are coming together. Shout out to my Cape Verdean sister, Miss Ari, who's over on Instagram as well. Also seeing that, it makes me think about, in addition to the Road to Wellness walk and the Road to Wellness run and walk on September 6th, that's in the morning. Later on that afternoon, when you meet folks at the finish line, walk down the street a little bit, down Columbus Ave, take a left on Tremont, and then go up, and right there behind the Mission Church between the, I think it's the Tobin Park, Yard Time is going to have their annual summer event on September 6th as well. So that's another, and that's my birthday weekend. So that's another one of those there's 2 or 3 other events I've heard about on that weekend. So please plan to go by and support Yard Time as well. We're going to get Joey on to talk about the event prior to, and also something else that's happening on that day as well. So we'll get him to come talk about that on the show soon in the daytime. Y'all see him in After Dark. We're going to bring the executive director, Joey Bennett, on to the Java Cafe. All right, folks, that's it. Oh, don't forget Saturday at 10 a.m. Please plan to tune in to watch Brother Dart Adams and I talk about being human. We're going to continue the conversation about climate change and climate justice, and dispelling this myth that it's not a priority for Black and brown folks. It is. And a lot of us are very active in it. Mariama White Hammond, Chanel Remy with her former position, Marlena Rose with REAP, and others that move in the environmental justice space. So we do that. Okay, folks, I'm going to get ready to go. We will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. with Josh James of Grow Rich Apparel. Have a great day, everybody. Stay cool. I think this is the last day of the heat wave. Stay cool and stay hydrated. And we'll see you tomorrow morning at 10. Peace, y'all.